If someone calls your business and there's no one there to answer, or perhaps you're having individuals turn up late for appointments at your medical clinic, how much is that actually costing your business? G'day, Ron here from ronaldosborne.org, where I help business owners and entrepreneurs like you achieve their version of success. Today, what I'm going to discuss with you is how to improve business processes. Let's jump into it. So why should you improve your business processes? It increases revenue. At the end of the day, that's what improving your processes will result in. You will have more money in the bank, and you can do this because you'll cut down on the waste that you have within the organization and within your processes. Process optimization also helps you with customer satisfaction and customer service. If you're able to connect and respond to customer issues faster than ever before, customers will be extremely impressed with the results and the communication that your organization delivers. Improving your business processes will help you increase morale amongst your employees and staff members. Happy employees, happy teams, happy staff members, all of that goes together if everything's on point and your processes are optimized. If no one knows what their job is and no one knows how to deal with a certain scenario or to do it in the best way, well, that hurts the organization and that hurts your team. Today, I'm going to give you 2 examples of different businesses and how we can improve specific processes and fix issues within the organization. The first scenario will be about a medical clinic. They're having individuals turn up for their appointments late too frequently, and it's hurting their bottom line. They're seeing less customers because of it. And the second example is an electrical company. Finding is their response time from the phone call to receive the work to actually get out there and fix the job is taking way too long. So we're going to look at that, address it, and find out ways that we can improve that business process. So what you should get from this video is you'll be able to walk away and identify poor processes within your organization, and you'll have the ability to fix them. So follow along, replace these scenarios with your own, something that's going on within your own organization, utilize that, and I'm sure that we will be able to get on top of those poor processes that are costing you money. Step 1 is to map out the actual process from point A to point B. In this scenario, you want to have every single point, every single example. So let me show you on how I've drawn out both of the examples I just mentioned before. So by drawing out and identifying the actual process on a piece of paper, it will really help break it down. So as you can see right here, just behind me, I have created both scenarios, the process from A to B. Now, you don't want to look at the whole problem. It's very important when it comes to processes that you actually break it down and focus on a specific component of it. As this example with the medical clinic, we're talking about from the customer finding us to the customer arriving to the clinic. We're finding that that period is too long. So we need to map that out, tear that apart. Let's jump into examples on how I would look at that and how I'll tear that apart so you will know how to do this. All right, so as you can see, here it is right here. So medical clinic wait time. We have the customer Googles the business and finds our website or our Google business profile. The customer calls for a booking and sees if there's any availability. The staff answers. The staff then says, hey, we've got 5 o'clock available today. We have 10 o'clock, whatever it is. But that's what will happen. The next thing will be that the patient just arrives. So we told them, we got off the phone with them, we booked the call, then the patient just turns up. And then the patient causes wait times to blow out later because they arrive later. So that's the medical example. That's the problem that we're having. Now, the next example is an electrician response time. So what we're finding here is one of my clients has a large electrical company and obviously responds to these types of calls. They field this and they have repairmen out in the field. Now, what's happening with him is that individuals are finding the business. So they're finding him, they're calling, they're saying, hey, I have this problem, this wire is broken, this light needs to be changed, I need you over here. Then what happens is the staff takes those calls and then they explain the booking time or they book the time with the customer. Hey, 5 o'clock is when we'll be out there. The staff record the booking. That's the next process. They then notify the man in the field that they believe would be the right fit for that job. So as you can see, it's starting to break down. Now the field tech must respond at accepting or rejecting the job. So if they accept it, then they advise the possible ETA of when they could be there. Does 5 o'clock work? Or if they reject it, then the staff members must go out there and find some other tech and get them to maybe drive even further. Like it might be 30 miles away. They might need to drive further away. So then they can get in there and actually get the job done. This is a big problem for this organization, so we had to address it. So once you've done that, make sure that you review the process in detail. In the example of the medical clinic, what you should be doing is running that process yourself with your team. You should be calling them up saying, hey, I'm looking for a medical spot. When can you get me in? I need to see this doctor, blah, 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 setting all of that up, trying that, running that process to actually see how everyone performs. That's very, very important. And the reason we're doing this is because we're trying to identify what our opportunity costs are. Is this costing us money? Or is this actually making us money? So we're trying to improve any process that we can. Anything in your organization should be looked over, and you should try and look for improvements anywhere, because one small little move of the needle can mean a lot for a multi-million-dollar business. So in the example of the medical clinic, what we want to do is we want to figure out how much involvement we actually have in this process. Now, obviously, we're utilizing a digital marketing agency, to foot the bill and setting up all of this for us. So that will be not equated in here, but this is just an example of how it works. But you should be recording time where you can see right here, customer calls booking, and the staff answers and books the time. How long is that taking the staff? What are they missing out by doing this? So we want to record that time. Let's say 5 minutes, that's 5 minutes of a receptionist time. Now, when it comes to the patient arrives 10 minutes late, what else is that doing to our business? How is that impacting the doctors that now can't see the additional patients? And the reason that this is important to look at it on such a micro level is because what happens is if you zoom out and actually see this is one patient, what we were finding that this would happen about 10 times a day. So that's 110 minutes lost for this medical clinic. Now, 110 minutes of doctor's wages is quite a lot. So by not being able to get an additional 11 patients in, that was quite costly to this organization. So that's what you want to look at. You want to figure out the opportunity cost. When you are going through and working this out, how much is that 10 minutes overall in the day or the week or the month, however you measure your performance, how is that impacting the organization? That's what you want to figure out. So you would put 5 minutes of time here, but then you would be adding up 10 minutes of lost time of wages earned. So that's a patient that you could have billed, whatever it is at your medical clinic or whatever it is. Even if you're a hair salon, you can utilize this, because if you were to have someone in there getting their hair done, getting their nails done, whatever it is, in any scenario, if you're a restaurant, that 10 minutes, how much does it cost you? What's lost from this process not being optimized? The next step that you must do is start to improve those large problem areas. It's vitally important that you understand each process in its minutiae form. You need to identify what's involved with it and how to lay this out to best fix the problem. Another great way of coming up for ideas is just brainstorming them with your team, chatting with the team out in the field. As an example, we got a couple of ideas from a couple of electricians that were actually out in the field for identifying their fixes. That's very important. Involve your team in the problem solution, especially when it comes to process optimization. They will see things that you, the business owner, cannot. So what we're going to do right now is I'm going to run you through how we fix these issues for my clients, what we did, how we rolled out the strategies, but how we really identified and took it apart. So let's do that together. So as you can see, and you've probably already noticed, that there's a huge gap between this and this. So staff book the time and then the patient arrives late. This is where your problem is. Everything appears to be flowing smoothly, and that's how you identify a break in the chain of your processes. You can see good, and problem. That's what you're looking at. So with this problem, with this break in the chain here, this is where it all breaks down right here. You want to go ahead and address those issues. So what we did is we started utilizing SMS systems and even followed up automated calls. Now, what that did is it constantly reminded the patients that, hey, you have an appointment with this doctor at 5 o'clock today. Are you going to miss it? Are you going to be late? Press Y if you're able to make it. Press N if you're not. We implemented that. And what happened is we noticed a drastic increase. So we had a drop from on average around about 11 to 12 patients turning up late a day. That dropped down to 3 just by implementing that strategy, which means that their billables now for that medical clinic goes drastically up. That's process improvement. Now, a similar scenario with our electrician over here. So as you could see, everything's okay from here. Calls to book, identify any issues, staff answering, then they're booking the time. But you notice two problems here, and I'm sure you've all experienced this. Everyone has. Staff in the office will book the time and say, this is when our rep will be out there to fix your problem. They get out there a couple of hours later. This was a huge issue for us. So right here, let me grab my trusty pencil, wherever it may lie. So as you can see right here, this right here, the staff were booking the time. We had to rectify that issue. Unfortunately, the staff do not understand what the techs are doing out in the field. Maybe they're stuck on a job, which happens a lot of the time. So what we had to do is create some creative strategies to overcome this issue. We would just have the staff answer and say, okay, this is your problem. This is when we believe we could be out there, but what we're going to do is we're going to get onto our technicians so we can give you an accurate ETA for when we will be there to help you. One, this drastically increases customer satisfaction because we haven't said that 5 o'clock on the dot we will be there. We've given them an estimate. So it helps ensure trust of we are working towards this and we're going to get you a more accurate time. So customer satisfaction increased because we weren't sitting there and promising a time and not delivering. So how we overcame this issue was we had the company have a trusty little app. So this little app cost a couple of thousands of dollars to develop. Yes, it might sound like a lot of money, but I assure you, they've already made it back after a couple of weeks. What they did is they created this awesome little app. So now when the staff answers that phone call, they paste it on their little app and it goes out to all of the tech employees. Hey, there's a job in Fort Lauderdale. We need this fixed. Customers reporting a broken light and they need to repair the wires, whatever the job may be. This would pop up and all of the technicians would see it and be able to respond to it. What this did is enable the technicians to actually have input on when they believe that they could be there. So they would say, I believe that I can get to this job at 5 o'clock, because the process in the office was to call the closest people. They would look at a sheet and say, oh, John should be done at 4 o'clock. He's close. This job was only meant to be half a day long. He should be done. So I'll call him and send him out. That was wasting way too much of staff's time. Fielding those calls, hiring someone full time to handle these types of calls is not appropriate. It should not be done, not in this day and age with the technology we have. So what we did is we circumnavigated that. We removed that process. We now stick the job right into this app, which notifies all of the employees and all of the contractors. And the electricians themselves can look at it and say, I can get there at 3 o'clock. I can get there at 4 o'clock. Now it's up to the staff to approve who they give the job to. Once that process is done, the customer is notified immediately via a text message saying, this is the exact time that we will be out there. And this is the name of the technician that will be there to service the job for you. Now, what this does is it cuts out all the noise. Customers understand that when it comes to trades, you cannot give a specific on the money time. And to be honest, if you say that, we all sit there and go, if I'm told that an electrician's going to turn up to my joint at 11 o'clock, well, I know he's turning up at 1. That's a terrible process. We need to break that. If you're in any trade related job, you need to break that. You need to get rid of that. You should be utilizing something like this to help yourself overcome any problems there. Utilize automation. It's a brilliant tool, and now your customer's more informed. And not only that, the customer now has the number for John as well. So they can actually just sit there and be like, it's 5:05. John was meant to be here at 5. I'm going to give him a call and find out what's going on. So when you are looking to improve your business processes, you need to ensure that you're always moving forward, not backwards. If you implement a change, it shouldn't hinder the business. It should only help you. As an example, those two scenarios seriously and significantly impacted the businesses in a positive way. That's what you should see. Now, not all process optimization will result in such drastic increases, but they can be small little details that help improve the organization overall. Even if you have a multi-million-dollar business or something that makes $150,000 a year, if you still improve your processes to equate to an additional earning of 3%, that's still a significant amount of money that you wouldn't have had. That's why process optimization is vitally important. So when it comes to process optimization, the main thing is to keep in mind is to review the process, go down into the details, deep dive into the one process, the one action. Do not clump everything together. From there, analyze it. Go away and see the process yourself. After that, once you've made the changes, make sure that you test it out. See if it is actually the best solution. From there, you can move away, continuously optimize, continuously test, and ensure that your business process is on point. And I promise you, you will see drastic results in your business overall if you implement this strategy and do it effectively. Now, I hope this has answered the question of how do you improve your business processes. If it has, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe. I love helping and I love showing all I can and giving everything I can to everyone out there in the World Wide Web to help them improve their business. If you'd like to have a chat with this business coach right here, just make sure that you hit me up down below. I'm somewhere in there. Click on the link, go across, find me, reach out. I'd love to hear from you, and I hope you have a lovely day.